This is moved just a little bit farther off toward the east. So Sweetie Smith Road over toward Gus Love Road, and looks like County Road 55. Those are some of those next streets that are going to be in line as this continues to move off toward the north and the east. And again, it's going to be these couple of pixels right here where these red outbound winds and green inbound winds is kind of causing this area of rotation, and we may be getting pretty close to potentially even having a tornado on the ground here, fairly close to Cottonwood Dragway, and this will continue to move off toward the north and the east. Again, Sweetie Smith Road, Gus Love Road, and over toward County Road 55. Going to be the next few locations that could see this move through their region. Love Hill, anybody in the Love Hill community, if you're not already in your safe place, go ahead and get there. County Road 55, then over toward Dupree, and it looks like Rocky Creek Road. Anybody living in those locations, you'll have this rotation coming over your area within about the next 5 minutes or so. We'll continue to monitor this debris tracker. This is the best way that we're able to see whether or not we have a tornado that's on the ground and producing lofting debris into the air, doing damage and lofting debris into the air. It'll show up as a little bit of a lowering in this correlation coefficient or our debris tracker, and it's a good indication that we may have a tornado on the ground. For right now, not seeing any of that stuff. This is purely radar indicated rotation, and again, that rotation moving over Cottonwood Dragway and headed toward County Road 55 here within about the next 5 minutes or so. If you live in the Dupree community, you're going to be next in line for this, and then just continuing farther down the road here, again, Rocky Creek Road, and then over toward Pansy along State Highway 84. Again, a tornado warning has been issued for the southern portions of Houston County. The morning so far has been fairly quiet, and then we got this one tornado warning that spun up, and again, it looks like right now that rotation just about directly over Cottonwood Dragway, and we'll continue to watch this as it tracks off toward the north and the east. Again, continuing to keep an eye on that debris tracker, making sure that we don't see a lowering in this debris tracker. That would be evidence that there is a tornado on the ground producing damage and lifting some of that debris up into the air. Again, good news is, fortunately, we're not seeing that right now, but with that rotation really starting to kind of ramp up over the last couple of scans, we may be getting pretty close to having a tornado on the ground, but at least for right now, no indications that there is a tornado on the ground. Anybody along County Road 55 through Dupree, South Rocky Creek Road, you guys are going to be next in line here. We'll zoom in a little bit closer on this area of rotation, try to see if we can pick up any additional locations. Sweetie Smith Road over toward the Love Hill community. This rotation now moving past your area now. So this is now moved over the Cottonwood Dragway. It's moved over Sweetie Smith Road, County Road 55 now going to be the next in line. Radar, obviously just a snapshot in time. This area of rotation continuing to move off toward the north and the east. But the radar just picking up an individual moment of that. So there's a pretty good chance this is now sitting over County Road 55 and now starting to get pretty close to the Dupree community. Still not seeing much that would suggest that we have a tornado on the ground. There is an update to that warning. I noticed part of that polygon has been trimmed down. We'll see whether or not that is a radar confirmed tornado. No, that is still radar indicated rotation, which is definitely some good news. However, with that in mind, if you're still down here in the southern and the southeastern portions of Houston County from Cottonwood Dragway all the way over to Gordon, if you're anywhere within that red polygon, you want to go ahead and get to that safe spot. Fortunately, we are making it now a little bit earlier into the morning hours, so hopefully there's some people that are awake, and for those that were still sleeping, if they live in this region, they had multiple alerts ready, and they're now awake and taking action and moving to that safe place. This rotation going to move very close to Dupree over the next several minutes. It'll cross over Rocky Creek Road and then eventually make its way over closer to Highway 84 right around Pansy. So anybody in Pansy, anybody in Gordon, you have about 10 or 15 more minutes, probably at the most, before this rotation starts to move closer to your region. This has already moved past Cottonwood Dragway, so anybody around Cottonwood Dragway, and especially in Cottonwood, very, very good news that missed Cottonwood to the north, but again, Dupree over toward Pansy, and then eventually over toward Gordon. Over about the next 10 minutes or so, this rotation will continue to move off toward the north and the east. Ashford, you are no longer included in that tornado warning. Eastgate Park, and then back over toward the Circle City and Dothan, you are not included in this tornado warning. We'll kind of zoom out and give you a little bit of a wider view, kind of give you a scope of where this is. This is over in the kind of east central portions of Houston County. There's Ashford, there's Dothan, there's Cottonwood, now no longer included in that warning, and there's our area of rotation, pretty much just about perfectly in the center of Houston County, just a little bit maybe to the southeast of the center of Houston County, and this will continue to move off toward the north and the east. So again, Dupree, Pansy, Gordon, you guys are the next locations that are in line for this possible tornado. It's still radar indicated rotation. No indications right now that we have a tornado on the ground, but it looks like this is moving, looks like right along County Road 8. It'll make its way over towards South Rocky Creek Road. If it's not there already, it'll be there within the next minute or two, then probably another 5 minutes or so, it'll start to make its way over toward South County Road 75 and eventually over toward State Highway 84, very, very close to Pansy. It looks like the rotation moving to the south of Dupree, and if it continues along that same track, it should just barely miss Pansy to the south as well. But again, if you live in Dupree, if you live in Pansy, if you live right along State Highway 84 from Pansy all the way over to the Georgia state line. If you live anywhere in those locations, you want to go ahead and be in that safe spot. Lowest floor of your home, as far away from the outside as possible, as close to the center of your home as possible. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and make sure that room is fairly small as well. That can be a closet, that can be a bathroom, that can be a narrow hallway. Take pillows, take blankets, take mattresses. Put on bicycle helmets, football helmets, and make sure you have closed-toed shoes on as well. This rotation not looking as organized right now as it was back when this warning was first issued, but definitely still some rotation showing up on the velocity there. So a tornado warning continues still for the east central portions of Houston County. We'll once again bring up that debris tracker, and still some very, very good news. Not seeing anything that sticks out to me that says that we have a tornado on the ground that's producing damage at the moment, but with the way the environment is throughout the overnight hours this past night and even into early this morning, a tornado, even if it's a brief one, can spin up pretty quickly in an environment like this. We hope that's not the case, and for right now we don't have a tornado on the ground, or at least any indications that we have a tornado on the ground. But again, with the environment that we have in place, it will not take very much for a tornado to spin up. We'll once again take a look at the reflectivity, and again, nothing that really sticks out to me there that would suggest we definitely have a tornado on the ground. Still have that little bit of a hook there just to the west of County Road 75 and State Highway 84, but again, not looking as organized right now as it did several minutes ago, back when this warning was first issued, while that rotation was just to the north of Cottonwood and making its way over Cottonwood Dragway. Look around at a couple of other things, make sure nothing's really sticking out to me, and no, there's still some broad rotation here. Looks like now just barely to the east of Dupree, headed over Rocky Creek Road, and this will continue to move off toward the north and the east, very, very close to Pansy along State Highway 84, probably going to be those next locations, probably within about the next 5 minutes or so. You'll see that rotation move away from Dupree and over into Pansy. The good news is things not looking quite as organized right now as they were back when that warning was first issued, but as long as that rotation continues to stick around, we'll continue to have that tornado warning in effect. Right quick, just a quick view of a little bit of a wider stance. Rain now moving to the south of Dothan, southeastern portions of Geneva County seeing quite a bit of rain, some thunder, some lightning, most of the southern portions of Houston County as well, and then back down toward the south and the west over toward Caryville, Chipley, down around Interstate 10. That's the primary region where we're still looking at these thunderstorms moving through the region, and for right now we still have the one warning, a tornado warning in effect for the east central portions of Houston County. This storm not looking quite as organized now, but some broad rotation does continue, and it's it's one that continues to bear watching as we head over the next several minutes. Looks like some of that best rotation, or at least the most well-defined rotation, is now made its way just to the east of Rocky Creek Road, and it's headed right for Pansy. If you live in Pansy, you've probably got about another 3 minutes or so to go ahead and get in that safe place. Again, there's no indications that really jump out at me that says that we do in fact have a tornado on the ground, but with the environment that we're in, we definitely want to make sure everybody is taking their safety precautions. So anybody in Pansy, and then farther off toward the north in the east of Pansy on the other side of State Highway 84, definitely want to go ahead and be in that safe place as that storm continues to make its way off toward the north and the east. See if I can get a really quick view on how fast this storm is moving. It is moving off toward the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So it's similar to how the rest of these storms have been moving throughout the morning. It's moving along at a pretty good clip. Zoom back out a little bit more and show you who all is included within this tornado warning. Again, Pansy is going to be next in line. Gordon, this will move over closer to you probably within about the next 10 minutes or so. And then this crosses over the Alabama and the Georgia state line and moves over into the southern portions of Early County. So it's one that we'll continue to watch. Rotation, again, not quite as organized as it was several minutes ago, but some broad rotation does continue here just to the south of State Highway 84, now starting to get very, very close to Pansy. We'll switch this back over to reflectivity and kind of give you a view of what's going on elsewhere within the county. Some heavy rain falling back over toward Ashford, State Highway 84, 231, a very, very wet go of it. And again, as we continue to get more and more of these scans into the region, this cell continues to look more and more disorganized, and we should eventually see this tornado threat come to an end. We're really starting to lose a lot of that really well-defined rotation that you would really need for a tornado warning. Looks like some of it trying to reorganize a bit more, just now crossing over State Highway 84 just to the southeast of Pansy, and as it continues on its current track, it looks like it'll move just to the north of Gordon, make its way over State Highway 95, and then over the Georgia state line and into Early County. It still remains to be seen whether or not this tornado warning will be extended over into Early County, but that's something we'll continue to watch for here over the next several minutes. Nothing that really looks incredibly organized or impressive here on the storm relative velocity, or a look at the rotation, and again, nothing really there that would suggest that we have a tornado on the ground here with our debris tracker. If that was the case, we would see a lowering somewhere here over State Highway 84. There's another update to the warning polygon, now including Pansy, Philadelphia, Gordon, and then over to the state line and over into Early County. Again, nothing that sticks out to me that would say that we have a tornado on the ground, but still a little bit of broad rotation. Now moving over State Highway 84, just to the southeast of Pansy, and as this continues to move off toward the north and the east, places like Philadelphia will be next in line to see this rotation move over your region, probably within about the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Looks like just to the north of Curtis Mixon Road, East Cook Road. You guys are going to be next in line for that. This is over in the eastern portions of the city of Pansy as this continues to move off toward the northeast. So East Cook Road over toward Green Frog Road. If you live anywhere along those locations, those are going to be next in line to see this rotation move over the region. And again, rotation continues to look not very impressive. It's not very organized. You would ideally want this to be a bit more organized in order to have a tornado on the ground, which is definitely some good news. We'll definitely take a tornado warning that does not produce a tornado, produce any damage or anything like that, especially in a setup like what we've had in place across the region throughout the overnight hours this past night and even into early this morning as well. I think for right now, this is our only tornado warning. I'll zoom out right quick, make sure there's nothing else going on while we're keeping track of that. No, this is our only tornado warning that's in effect at the moment. It's still over here in the far east central portions of Houston County. Still includes the community of Pansy, still includes Philadelphia, still includes Gordon. Just about everybody else in Houston County, you were done with that tornado warning. So back toward Dupree, Cottonwood, Dragway, and Cottonwood. you guys are done with this tornado warning. We'll continue to monitor this tornado warning either until the Weather Service in Tallahassee chooses to cancel the warning or they allow it to expire, and this warning expires at 4:30. So we're still sitting about 15 minutes away from this warning expiring. One of two things is either going to happen. Either this rotation is going to fall apart to the point that they cancel the warning, or I think this rotation is moving fast enough where it potentially makes its way out of the polygon before the warning actually expires. And then it's just a matter of whether or not this is continued, whether or not that tornado warning is extended over into the southern and central portions of Early County. That still remains to be seen. I personally don't think we'll see an extension of that warning, but it's something that we'll continue to monitor here over the next several minutes as this continues to move off toward the north and the east. Again, nothing that really jumps out at me that would say, yes, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground, but it's something we'll continue to keep an eye on. And then switching back over to velocity again, just not seeing much that would suggest we have any organized rotation going on. If there is any rotation, looks like there's maybe still a little bit of broad rotation. Now on the eastern side of Highway 84, this will make its way over toward State Highway 95 over the next several minutes. Philadelphia, looks like this rotation may go directly over you. It looks like it goes just to the north, of Gordon. Then it crosses over the Alabama and the Georgia state line, and really from there it's kind of a waiting game to see whether or not they extend this tornado warning farther eastward over into Early County, or if they just allow this to expire and we're, at least for the moment, done with the tornado threat. This is a very isolated spin up that kind of happened, some rotation that got a little bit more organized, at least organized enough to warrant the issuance of this tornado warning. And now it looks like things are starting to get a bit more disorganized. Even looking at reflectivity, that just doesn't have the shape that you would normally look for in a storm that would be tornado producing. There's not a lot of lightning here either. Some lightning farther back off toward the west and some of that heavier rain, but there's nothing that jumps out at me at reflectivity that says we need to be really all that concerned about a tornado on the ground. There's not really any place I can point out here on velocity that would suggest that we have a tornado on the ground, much less very much in the way of rotation. And also taking a look at that debris tracker again, there's not really anything there that would suggest that we have a tornado on the ground. So with that in mind, we'll switch this back over to reflectivity and give you just a real quick run through of what we're seeing elsewhere around the Wiregrass. We'll continue to keep an eye on that tornado warning for the east central portions of Houston County. Nothing that really sticks out at me that would suggest that we're in any immediate trouble as far as a tornado threat goes. We'll put this into motion here. You can see that line of thunderstorms that continues to make its way out of Geneva County and across portions of the Florida Panhandle as well. Graceville, if you live in Graceville, it's pretty loud at the moment with lots of heavy rain, thunder and lightning, probably some gusty winds as well. Rehoboth over toward Taylor and Madrid. You're still looking at some of that heavy rain coming down with thunder, lightning, and probably some gusty winds as well. Then down State Highway 84, that they just canceled that tornado warning. So heavy rain continues to the south of Dothan, out across the eastern portions of Houston County. Highway 84 between Dothan and Gordon, a very, very wet go of it, as well as Highway 231 south of Dothan and into the Florida state line. As you can see there, they canceled the tornado warning. There's not really anything else that sticks out at me that would suggest that we need additional tornado warnings over the next little bit. So I think we're good to send this back to regularly scheduled programming. I'm meteorologist Zach Webster. Thanks so much for watching.
This has been a forewarned weather alert.